You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast coming to you, not live, but we are live. Me and Ty right now. UFC 288, Newark, New Jersey. Main event, Henry Cejudo, Cejudo Sterling. We will have picks. We will have predictions. We will have everything you could imagine under the sun. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by Ty Capone. If you are not familiar, this is the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. We do this podcast 1 to 2 times a week, depending on necessity, and we give you the picks. We talk about the MMA sports and everything world. We have a sports podcast as well, but we do it all under the Hot Take Hot Box umbrella. I am Matt McSweeney, like I said. Ty, how are you feeling today?
Pretty good. Coming off the heels of a Los Angeles Dodgers sweep, get them brooms out.
Oh, boy. All right.
We got some Sixers action tonight. I'm not sure how to feel after game 2. I mean, that was like a complete flip from game 1. We have not a great card, I will say, but definitely an interesting card coming up. And I'm still, like, as we speak right now, I'm still kind of torn on the main event. I've been going back and forth literally since the fight got announced. I think I have a lean, but I keep going. I keep switching. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the co-main, right? I think the whole main card in general is good. I think the prelims are pretty good. Maybe the early prelims get a little ugly, but you have Phil Hawes. You have this heavyweight fighter who is, I can't wait to talk about him. It's just the funniest thing ever. But not a great card, not an awful card, but we'll, as always, we'll see how it translates. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's
back to Newark.
Back to Newark, back to a card that is somewhat a little bit respectable. Not completely. It's not a great card, but it's at least we have some intrigue at the top, and we have some interesting fights sprinkled out throughout the entire night.
Did you know Aljo can't fight in New York?
Why is that?
I guess he had a brain scan done a while ago, and there's I don't know what exactly. It's like a millimeter sized something on his brain that I think he, if I'm under the impression, New York wants him to get a surgery done for somebody to go in to his brain and take out whatever is the issue. And he's like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. It's apparently not a big deal at all. So everybody else lets him fight, but New York still won't, which is where he's from, which is so pathetic. I mean, New York for a long time has just been anti-MMA. I think it all started with John McCain calling it human cockfighting back in the 90s. Meanwhile, we have BKFC is a thing now.
That is human cockfighting.
Yeah, literally. Which sucks, honestly. But for some reason, I thought he was from New Jersey. But I always mix up some of the New Jersey, New York, Serra-Longo guys. But either way, he won't be too far from home. I'm sure he'll have the hometown advantage. Henry Cejudo is trying his very best, him and his team, to rattle Aljo. And it seems like it's working. So I guess we'll just kick it off and get into a nice breakdown of this main event. I don't really know where I lean, so I'm going to let you talk for a little bit because I think every word that I say, I keep flipping back. So.
And it's interesting because I'm usually that guy who has I have no idea where I want to go, and you're the one who's like, all right, well, this is what I'm thinking, yada, yada, yada. And to this time, I have been saying this for anyone who's listened to this for weeks. The day they made this fight, I am all in on Henry Cejudo, and it's not even just him. I just think this is the absolute perfect matchup for him. I don't think Aljamain presents, I shouldn't say any problems, but virtually no problems for a guy in Cejudo who has fought some, dangerous strikers, even a TJ Dillashaw, a Marlon Moraes, a Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. He has fought some guys, some of the best fighters to ever fight, at these weight classes. Cejudo Sterling is a big guy. He is a great grappler. He is a great jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's a good wrestler as well. I don't know how he's going to be able to hold Henry Cejudo down. That is where I really there is a difference. Now, I think the size difference is going to be a big factor. I mean, Aljamain already is a huge 35er and has talked many times about going up in weight to 45 or just, right? I mean, that's been a conversation in the past. I don't know.
He also struggled with this weight cut. He said when he stepped on the scales,
Yes.
This one was a little tougher than I thought. Also, dude, he is cut the fuck up. Absolutely chiseled.
Henry's, he's getting older. He's 36 now, and he's been out of the game for, 2 years, 3 years now?
2, 3, yeah.
He hasn't fought since 2020, right during the pandemic. So it's basically it's 3 days short of 3 years since he's been in the cage fighting.
Seems like it's been longer, honestly.
It really does. It feels forever, and I guess that's just because there's fights every weekend now. The shit is moving so quickly, it's hard to keep track of. I don't like Aljamain's stand-up, and I think Cejudo has fought bigger guys his whole life. I think the only way Mr. Sterling wins is just being able to bully Henry Cejudo. And in my head, I have a really tough time believing he's going to be able to pull that off. When he takes him down, will he be able to hold him down? Will he be able to get on his back? Will he be able to just overpower Henry? Has Henry lost a step? Those are the only things I really think, because otherwise, skill for skill, Henry Cejudo is the much, much better and much more well-rounded mixed martial artist. It seems to me like a mismatch for Sterling, and it's not even something like if him and O'Malley matched up, they would be similar in stature, but Sterling would have that distinct advantage on the ground, and he'd be able to take him down, hold him down like he's done to guys like Jan and guys like Dillashaw for whatever that was worth,
Not much.
Yeah, exactly. With the injury, and he looked horrible. That win didn't really mean much after it happened. So
all the fans are like, "Oh, thanks for wasting our time."
Yeah, like it was basically like everyone was mad at Dillashaw for kind of taking it, but we understood why he took it because you don't know if you're gonna get it. It's like, okay, well, it was just kind of felt bad for Sterling because he came out and did his job, but the other end of the bargain was not held. And this one, I think the other end of the bargain will be held up. I didn't even like Sterling in the Jan fight that second time. They didn't look, great, and it's. I mean, obviously, Cejudo's nowhere near the hands that Mr. Jan has, I should say, but I gotta believe that his IQ, his wrestling ability, and I think that he's really never stopped being in the gym. I mean, even though he may not have been training for fights, he was always in there. He was always coaching, and I'm sure he's probably always working out. So I'm going Cejudo. I love the money line, and I would sprinkle a little bit on TKO, but I think for the sake of this podcast and for the sake of our picks, I'm going to fire a -110 money line bet.
Wow.
And max play in my mind. Like this is and I don't even I feel really good about this one, and I could be wrong. I have been wrong in the past, ladies and gentlemen. I like to let you know I am no godlike expert when it comes to this stuff. I don't think any of us are. It's the fight game. Even sports are. I mean, this to me, MMA is even less, able to predict. It just you don't know if a guy's coming in with this or that, or he's he doesn't feel well. He had the flu that week. You can see crazy shit all the time. And with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta let you know that I haven't felt this good about a pick in a while. And my pick is Henry Cejudo money line for Saturday night's main event, and I just can't wait to hear what Ty has to say.
Yeah, I'm just very conflicted. They both have had some. I don't know if it's good, different levels of luck, right? Because I think Aljo's kind of what's he won? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights in a row after that Marlon Moraes knee. Marlon Moraes also had Henry Cejudo in a bit of trouble. I won't say trouble, but he was making it interesting for about a round and a half. But ever since then, I think after the Sanhagen win, people were like, "Oh man, he's legit." Everybody, his stock was so high, and then the 2 Petr Yan wins. A lot of people thought, robbery in both fights, and obviously, you can't throw an illegal knee. You just can't do it, and it is what it is. He was losing that fight, but then he rebounded in the rematch, and I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it again, but I think he might have won. I think he might have stolen.
It was very close.
And then he fights TJ, and TJ has one arm, so that's kind of like a throw that fight in the trash. And then you look at Henry Cejudo and the Dominic Cruz fight, early stoppage. I don't think so, but it was also an old Dominic Cruz. He's only fought at 135 twice. His last two fights, Dom and Marlon Moraes.
Yeah.
And I don't think both of those guys were past it, and now they're both done ish. The TJ Dillashaw fight, when he fought Dillashaw, he was all juiced up on EPO, but he also, I don't know if EPO necessarily helped him as much as it would in most cases. He almost killed himself to make 125, and then he got knocked out in 30 seconds. The Demetrius fight was a split, but he won that. I think he deserved that. I mean, remember in the first round, his ankle was flopping all around the cage. He had like nerve failure in the first round of that DJ rematch. Comes back and wins the fight, which is so crazy because after the first fight, he got smoked. He got absolutely run through in that first fight against Demetrius. Then he lost to Benavidez. Then he rebounded well. They're both on winning streaks. They're both a little old, right? I think Aljo's 33, Henry's 36. So I really want to take Henry, but I think I'm going to go Aljo. I think he has that huge 7-inch reach advantage. He's very high pace, especially early. I'm not sure how Henry's cardio is going to look. I assume it'd be good. He's not somebody that takes a day off, but it has been a while. He is 36. I know he has been training guys like John Jones, and I think he's been training with Figgy, and might be missing somebody, but he's doing a lot. So he's always in the ring. He's always in the gym. I'm not too sure if he can really stop Aljo from getting to a spot. I know his wrestling is very has that credential wrestling, but also guys that fight from 125 to 170. I said this before. Shout out to Luke Thomas for the stat. In title fights from 125 to 170, 2 and 28 fighters that are 35 years or older. Both wins, Tyron Woodley. So Father Time is not on Henry's side. I think that's going to matter. I think Aljo's going to move around a lot. I think he's going to be able to stop some of them blitzes that Marlon Moraes couldn't stop. I don't like how he gets hit. We've talked about it before. He doesn't react well. He's having a really rough weight cut. I don't think Henry Cejudo's weight cuts. It's probably fine. Honestly, he was the first one on the scale, so he looks shredded. They're both in great shape. They're both ready.
So it's like not. Yeah.
So I guess he's fine. And Henry puts on this act that he's an idiot, and all his training partners and teammates and everybody in his corner are idiots. Look at Eric Albarstein. That he just seems like a clown, but they're all smart, man. They always have a good game plan. Henry always has a good game plan. I don't know, man. I think he's eventually going to get backpacked, or I think eventually something's going to happen and he's going to get his back taken. I don't know if Aljo's going to submit him, but I think it's possible. He has one of the best body locks in the UFC. He has some of the best, I guess maybe he's the best backpacker in the UFC. Just look at what he did to Corey Sandhagen, how quickly he did it. It was just like a snake, just like a boa constrictor. And the thing with Henry Cejudo is he throws a lot of kicks, right? I think that's going to be big, being the smaller guy, and you kind of want to chop down Aljo's legs, but he throws a lot of high kicks. I think Aljo's going to catch one of those high kicks, and I think that could be the round. I think Aljo's going to steal 3 rounds here. I think he's going to win a close decision. I could see the stand-up being kind of tricky, but being that much bigger, that long of reach, I do like some things that Aljo does on the outside, on the feet, some kicks. He's very quick, and he's very, very he moves very well. I wouldn't want to strike with him the whole time, but he's going to go for takedowns for sure, and I think he's going to get them. He's going to have varying degrees of success. Henry obviously is so good all around, so good everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he had some top control himself. Not for long, but at least a little bit. I'm going to go with Aljo. I think he's going to get it done. I think Henry's taking some time off. I think that's really going to hurt him. Aljo's kind of been fresher. He's been in there. He's been getting wins. Beat Piotr Jan twice. Say what you want. Beat Corey Sandhagen. Beat Pedro Munoz on his way here. And I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done, and I think he's going to defend against maybe Sean O'Malley next. But I don't think Aljo's going to hold the belt for long. Whoever wins this, I think they're going to lose. Probably next. They're both getting old. They both have had a lot of injuries. I'm going to go Aljo. I might flip-flop. I'm going to pick Aljo right here. I like him at not plus, but, kind of dog money. being the
plus
champ.
100 on FanDuel right now.
I like that. The active champ, I'll take him.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I really don't. I'm on the other side here. I'm believing in Cejudo, and although all the things you said, I don't know. It's very fascinating. This is a very fascinating fight, and I'm very excited for it. Even though I wish I was going to be in the building, but I am not paying $400 to watch Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling fight. It's just not going to happen. I have a television.
Not just them two, but also Joseph Holmes, Devin Clark, Crone Gracie. Some of these names, some of this card was kind of just, I don't know. But I feel you on that. The UFC needs to lower the prices for some events, but it seems like they can just do whatever.
Henry Cejudo is also getting on Crone Gracie's nerves, so it's good to have him back, man. He was just pissing everyone off.
That was so funny. He said, "Where's Nate Diaz?" And he's like, "Oh, he's at his kid's birthday party." He starts cracking the fuck up. And then Crone Gracie's like, "All right, I'm leaving."
Yeah, he said, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Crone Gracie's also not the brightest guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking about a guy who was he come out to like the warning alarm, and then he proceeded to
he's
get
a flat earther
against Cub Swanson. Now he took 4 years off, 3.5 years essentially, and he's getting back in there against Charles Jourdain. We'll get to that later, but Bilal Muhammad, Gilbert Burns. We got Gilbert Burns is a slight favorite, I believe, at minus 125, 130. I am seeing a Bilal Muhammad line that you can get right now for plus 110, 105 on some places. So I guess I'll let you lead this one off because honestly, I would just go out and say I do like Gilbert Burns here. I think it's a good matchup for him. But again, this is kind of one that there's a reason why. This is how you know the top of this card is good because they have two lines that really they don't know who's going to win. That's basically when they put it this close to even. They're kind of just trying to take money from both sides.
I love it. I get it. I get kind of both sides here. They've both kind of haven't had, an ideal, maybe not camp for this, but just the last couple months this year in general. I think. I mean, Gilbert fought 3 weeks ago. They went the distance. He looked like he was getting a little tired late, and that's a problem with him. He will gas out. That's short, stocky. He's also not young, and he's also been grappling for so long. A lot of miles on that tank. He is very, very explosive. So I think I could see if you think Bilal will take over down the stretch, but Bilal Muhammad also hasn't had an ideal year with trying to basically do everything he can and fight whoever he can fight, so he can get the respect that he thinks he deserves, which maybe he does, but he does a lot of stupid trash talk. Anytime he talks, I don't know. He made a statement about the Nets. He's like, "Yeah, now I see why the Nets left New Jersey." I was like, "Oh, that's funny." Not really at all.
Yeah.
But with Ramadan kind of interfering with his weight cut issues, he hasn't really been able to get a true ideal camp. Neither of them have. So, and they're both I don't want to say desperate, but they're both trying to just plant their flag and say, no, I'm getting a title shot because this division is kind of in limbo. But I don't know, man. I guess it being a 5-rounder really, really makes me contemplate Bilal. He is only plus 110, so the line's definitely closer than maybe I thought it would be at first. I think Gilbert's probably the better submission grappler. It's tough to take Bilal down. Bilal is really strong, but that also goes in Gilbert's favor. I don't know if Bilal's, if he wants to wrestle or grapple with Gilbert Burns, that's a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Bilal's very hard to take down. He's very hard to get, to sub. He's got awesome cardio. He's always been known as a cardio machine. His Sean Brady knockout was good and all, but Sean Brady was getting it into some nice striking exchanges with Chiesa. So it was just a good matchup, I guess, in hindsight. I don't know, man. I think Gilbert's better on the stand-up. I think he's better on the ground. But the cardio really does worry me. He does make a lot of mistakes. He can be hit, and his durability kind of wanes when the fight goes on, right? He had Usman hurt, and then Usman hit him with like a power jab, and he folded. He went down. So I'm really conflicted here. I think I might just stay away. My pure pick is going to be Gilbert Burns. I think he might get a sub or eke out a decision. But truly, if you think you can get Bilal plus money or if you can get Bilal plus money and you think he, has the advantage in any other area besides the cardio, I don't see why you wouldn't take a shot on him. I am going to stay away, though.
Smart, but you lean Gilbert Burns. That's a lot. I echo a lot of what you said, just based off that. Like, I don't really feel confident in this either way. Bilal has time after time proven me wrong. And, I was obviously on Sean Brady last time. And, he like we've gone through many a time, like he's had a lot of weird stuff happen to him. Like his last couple wins haven't really done much for you to be like, wow, like this guy is so like far and above. Like the Brady win was good, but you look then Luque, who we have proven is kind of on the other side of the hill. Stephen Thompson,
his wins haven't aged well,
on the other side of the hill. Damian Maia on the other side of the hill. So
he's down that hill.
Yeah, he's at the bottom of the hill and just chilling there, waiting for everyone to say it's over. Leon Edwards' eye poke was weird, but it's hard to say after 5 minutes he was going to lose that fight, but it just felt like he was not in that fight. And Diego Lima. So we've been through this many a time with Bilal. We don't really necessarily believe in it until it happens, and then it happens, and then we find a reason to not believe in him the next time. I'm going to go Gilbert Burns money line here. I just like the number. I like everything to do with it, and that's what I'm rolling with.
I like it.
So let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. We move on to what do they call this? The feature bout of the night. Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is fighting Yao Xiaonan in a
job.
I have experience saying that one in a 115 fight. Jessica Andrade just came back and fought Erin Blanchfield and got cooked at 125. She's back down to 15, which it seems like that's not easy for her to make, but it is the only place where she could really have some sustained success, I should say. I believe she is a minus 200 favorite in this against Yan Xiaonan. Yan Xiaonan I've seen get cooked by, I believe, Carla Esparza, right?
That was bad.
That was ugly, and that has kind of dictated what I've seen from her in my mind. And then, she comes back and she loses a split decision, close fight to Marina Rodriguez. She looked really good in that fight, I thought, thinking back on that. But then she beats Mackenzie Dern. And here we are today. I don't really believe in her. Jessica Andrade, I don't necessarily believe in her much either, but I think she's the better fighter here. I just don't know if there's anything to bet, and I don't think I feel confident enough. And maybe Andrade points, but I don't even know. It's very possible she hurts her and gets her out of there, which, that's plus 165 for inside the distance. TKO is a cool 335, 360 on some websites, FanDuel that being. So I guess I'll ask you, what do you think?
I think this could be a big moment in both their careers. I think this could be a rise for Jan and a fall for Andrade. Andrade has crazy power. She can slam you on your head. She's a good finisher. If you look at a lot of her fights, though, man, she does take damage. She does get hit kind of easily. She's like 5 foot, maybe. So Jan has about 5 inch height advantage, only like a 1 inch reach advantage, but I think I think Jan's probably the better overall striker. I don't think she has the power and finishing ability, but she's also on the rise. I think Andrade just might be done. She has the most fights of any woman in the UFC at 24. She has wins in 3 different divisions. Strawweight champ. She is the harder hitter. But I think she's less durable. I think she's kind of at a crossroads part of her career, right? She's moving up, she's moving down, she's fighting a top prospect, she's doing this after she had the belt and then lost it. I like Jan. She has good kicks. She's a good striker and just all around. She's very technical. She moves well, good footwork. She seems to be durable. I know she's had, the Carla fight. I don't think really anybody saw that coming. Carla came out like possessed and just elbowed her skull through the dirt. It happens. It is what it is. I don't know if Andrade will do that. I'm sure she's capable of inflicting damage on her, but that's just not really her game. She doesn't really fight smart either, Andrade. So I think I'm going to take a small little poke at Xiaonan money line. I think the line's a little too wide. I get it. Andrade's, a legend, and she has pretty much all the finishing equity here, but I don't think she's fighting. I don't think she's a smart fighter. I don't think she is. She's getting older. She was just outstruck by Erin Blanchfield, which kind of raises some concerns. We love Erin Blanchfield, but she's still very green on the feet. And yeah, she kind of got outstruck by her. Yan Xiaonan likes, she's been a volume puncher pretty much most of her career. She landed 113 significant strikes against Dern. She landed 93 against Carolina, 94 against Angela Hill, 150 back against Suri Kondo, and 96 in her debut against Kaylin Curran. She's been taken down a couple times, but she's also gotten takedowns. She took Carolina down 5 times. She took Marina down twice. And she was able to take some of those submissions against Mackenzie Dern and be fine. She only got taken down twice. Carla took her down a bunch, but again, that was kind of an outlier. Even when Claudia Gadella took her down, she got up. I like Yan. I think she's made some improvements. She works. She has a good gym. I think she's with Team Alpha Male, if they're still called that. Team Alpha Female. I'm going to take a shot on Yan. I think Yan decision would be a pretty good line to play. I think that I'm not going to do it because I could just, Yan comes out here, gets like an armbar in the first round, and
plus
I lose.
250
So
for the record.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Yan money line, and I'm going to hope she keeps getting better. Honestly, I think there's so much more room for improvement. If she gets that ground game working really well, I think we could see a future title challenger. I know a lot of people tried hyping her and Wei Li up. I just don't think she was ever on the same track as Wei Li. Wei Li was much more experienced, much more advanced, much more physically imposing, and just all around better. I think that was very unfair. I think Yan kind of got rushed because she is, hopefully, I'm not getting this wrong, a Chinese fighter, and they were trying to, push the talented Chinese fighters, and there are a lot of good ones, and I think she's one of the more talented ones. So this will be a big moment. She's very good, but there's some concerns for sure. I'm going to predict her to get the biggest win of her career, make a nice, put a stamp on it, and potentially climb the ladder.
You putting it on the card?
Yes, I will.
Oh wow, I love that. We'll get you plus 165, sir.
I like it. I just think Andrade has a lot of question marks. Gas tank, her mental, where she is in her career, moving up and down. I think there's a lot going on. She could easily come out here and just power slam her through the mat, but I'll take a chance.
And I don't blame you for doing that. I unfortunately
also bet her against Carla. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been wrong. I think I was with you. I think we both bet Yan that night, and it was just kind of.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
The death knell.
So I'm going to take Andrade inside the distance, and I think fair. Basically that's just based off the fact that she hits hard. She's got good grappling. I just think that she'll find a way to, maybe if Yan makes one simple mistake, I just think Andrade's shutting people down at 25 like Chukagian, even though it's kind of a lucky shot, and Amanda Lemos, she's fought the very best. Although Yan has as well, but it's just, I feel like the experience, and I don't know if she's necessarily cooked. I think she's on the way. Yeah. She's getting there, but I just don't think it's all the way over. And I think at 15, she's much more of a impact, a problem at the top than she is at 25. So I'm going to count on the way it being a good weight cut and her just being the bigger fighter and taking care of business.
There it is.
I don't think in stature, I don't mean that, but she just hits hard. Man, she's powerful. She's so powerful.
Strong, scary.
And even she made Amanda Lemos look like, Amanda Lemos is powerful and hits hard.
Was that a standing guillotine?
Yeah, the standing arm triangle, I think.
Even more insane.
Yeah, and just literally just gripped her up while they were up against the cage and just was like, that's it. You're done.
Grip me up.
Grip me up. Grip me up. Grip me up. Grip me up. All right, so we're going to go keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. The fourth fight that we are going to talk about, this is the second fight on the main card that you guys will see. Movsar Evloev, who was supposed to fight Bryce Mitchell, and I would have been sick if I bought tickets and I lost two of the bigger fights that were supposed to be on this card. Yeah. Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush was supposed to be the co-main, even though they did come and replace that with a 5-rounder, which is nice. Nice co-main event that gets the worthy distinction of basically being a title eliminator fight, even though the UFC never says that, but they don't have to because we really know what's going on. Mr. Evloev is undefeated, 16-0. This was going to be a really good test for him against Bryce Mitchell, who presents all sorts of problems on the ground, not as much on the feet. Diego Lopez, he's the late-time replacement. He has the craziest little haircut there going on. He is making his UFC debut straight from Lux Fight League, And I don't know where his last fight was, but it was in 2022 against Angel Rodriguez, who was
I think
10
it's in Mexico.
and
I
10.
could be wrong.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's making his UFC debut against Movsar Evelev, and he is a plus 600 underdog. Mr. Lopez has been finished by punches in his past. He has how many losses on the record? 5. 21 wins. Ty, do you feel? I mean, he's been knocked out twice, 3 decision losses. So I guess basically you're not going to pick Lopez. So you're trying to figure out how is Evelev going to win this fight.
Yeah, I think probably however he wants. I think he's just going to smother him. He's probably going to do exactly what Joe Anderson Brito did to Diego Lopez. I mean, Diego Lopez is he's interesting, right? He's a very aggressive submission grappler. He knee barred Marco Psycho Beltran in Lux I think a couple of years ago. And there's not really great fighters in Lux. So you do get some guys, but it's not very deep. He was a champion over there for whatever that's worth. He's competed in jiu-jitsu tournaments for a long, long time. So I don't know too much about him, but making your debut against Movsar Evloev, that is just that is not fun. The guy's 16-0, and it's really hard to be undefeated in MMA. Just even on the regional scene, honestly, I mean, you could beat up a bunch of bums. All it takes is one punch, or disqualification, or a bad weight cut, anything, and you take it out. He's coming off of a Dan Ige win after he beat Hakeem Dawodu. He did have a split with Nick Lentz, but I don't really worry about that too much. He knocked out or finished Sergey Morozov back in the day on the regional scene. He's fought some good competition. Made his debut against Sungwoo Choi. Fought an M1. I think he's going to cruise here. I mean, the line is what it is for a reason. If you want to take a shot on a dog blindly, sure, but I just would not bet against Movsar Evloev against a debut guy.
I like shots down the field. I, for one, am a guy who loves to take, spread it out and let's go 4 verticals. You know what I'm saying? Everyone out there knows what I'm saying. I know everyone out there knows what I'm saying. So,
verts, baby.
Movsar Evelev does not have a finish in his UFC career. I'm pretty sure. Correct? All 6 have been decisions. This is, if it's ever going to happen, this is it. He has to. I mean, honestly, it's crazy to say that, but he has to finish this guy. This guy is taking this fight on a week's notice, maybe 2 weeks max.
I think less than that.
And
Mitchell just pulled out.
It seems like he was
on the embedded.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they thought he was fighting, and they wouldn't have put him on there if they didn't think that they were promoting that fight for no reason. Evelev inside the distance is not really a great number. It's minus 105. You can get it at plus 115 as the reference number, but I don't ever take that because that's not a real number. I feel
like his decision would be a decent play just because it's what he does.
Yes, plus 135. You can get that out on FanDuel. So
that's tough. I don't know any of that.
Exactly. So they really. It's another thing when we say this. They don't really know. We don't know. They
just know he's going to win.
They just know he's going to win, and I'm confident in that as well. I'm going to take the inside the distance. I think this is the time. It has to happen today, or I'm sorry, on Saturday. And I don't know, man. I just don't like when these guys come and make their UFC debut on short notice. He could definitely shock us and be like, wow, like he put up a good fight. But 15 minutes with a guy who was ready to grapple with Bryce Mitchell and go to war with Bryce Mitchell. I'm gonna take Evelev, and I'm gonna take him inside the distance minus 105.
I like it.
You staying away?
Yeah, I'm staying clear away.
Smart man. How about Crone Gracie making his return to the octagon for the first time in, I believe, 4 years since his somewhat embarrassing loss to Cub Swanson. He really did not look good in that fight. Took some time off. Hopefully he's been working on the game. Really haven't heard much from him. I don't know if we ever thought he was going to fight again. He's getting in there against Charles. Exactly. And then his name popped up. I'm like, oh, wow. Charles Air Jourdain coming off of 2 consecutive losses. One to Burgos, which was a questionable, I thought, decision.
Very.
And then Nathaniel Wood, which he was beat up in that fight, I believe. If I remember correctly, It wasn't not necessarily beat up, but it wasn't close. It was not one of those where you were like, oh, my God, this should have gone the other way. I ask you, Mr. Capone, a guy who's been Darce choked, a guy who has, lost some fights that he probably shouldn't have lost. Do you think Crone Gracie, this number's a little interesting to me. I last time I checked, it was somewhat of a, plus 135, 150 for Cron Gracie. I thought Charles Jourdain would be a minus 200 and up, but
I think one of two things happens. Jordan probably maybe he doesn't finish him or knock him out, but I think he can. He's very explosive. He hits hard, and when he has you hurt, man, he really look what he did in the third round against Shane Burgos. He outstruck him 113-42. He puts up volume, right? Even the Julian Erosa fight, 85 landed, 106 against Rojo, 137 against Andre Ewell. So he's just a very up and down fighter. He doesn't seem very smart. Makes a lot of just rookie mistakes. It seems like. I know he was born in the same year as us, so he is still young. But then again, man, he has like 8 UFC fights. So, and then obviously, his takedown defense isn't good. It's like 48%. But Cron Gracie is not good at taking people down. He's not a good wrestler. His jiu-jitsu is world class. He gets anybody on the ground, it's probably over. I think if he gets Charles Jourdain on the ground or any kind of compromised situation in the grappling department, it's probably over. But I with that layoff, I don't trust it. I don't trust him to do that. I also don't really trust Charles Jourdain to play it safe and to do what you're supposed to, stick to the game plan. He overcommits a lot. That's a big red flag. But he does hit hard. He does have good kicks, kind of like a all-around arsenal. Throws elbows, throws knees, throws jumping kicks, throws this, spinning. Doesn't throw too much spinny shit. Good jab. So I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to finish Cron Gracie. I just really don't think Cron Gracie's good. The jiu-jitsu is awesome for sure. But when we've seen him on there, on the big stage, under the bright lights, completely folded against Cub Swanson. I mean, he tried taking him down twice. That's it. That's all he even attempted. And then he got his ass beat. So I think this is another one, but I'm staying away. These are two untrustworthy fighters.
Yeah.
I do like Charles Jourdain and his girlfriend, but just can't trust him. Can't trust him. And he's, like you said, he's been submitted. So.
Yeah, I mean, and he's had a lot of fights against a high quality. I think the thing is, I could see Jourdain making a mistake, maybe dipping into something that he kind of gets caught in some sort of neck crank or a guillotine, or he just, anything can happen. Maybe he gets just taken down and in a scramble, gets caught in something wild. I mean, the Cron's, grappling, the last name, the reputation precedes itself. It's just something I'm not willing to really. I would bet Jourdain, and I'd probably bet him inside the distance because I didn't like what I saw from Cron Gracie. But it's also been 4 years, and I don't know what he's been doing or working on. Like, he obviously trains with Nate Diaz. I don't know what that means, but I mean, I would hope that these guys are throwing hands every once in a while and working on this guy's boxing, because that's the big hole in his game, which was that last time he was out there, he looked lost against Cub Swanson. Now, Charles Jourdain and Cub Swanson, not exactly the same, but I could see Jourdain getting him out of here, and I feel pretty good about it, but I'm not going to take it here on the card, and I probably will take it in my personal life, though. So
I like it.
But again, I just think you got to know, ladies and gentlemen, like, you can't. Charles Jourdain is a guy you haven't been able to trust, and you really don't know. It's too much unknown here for my liking. Yeah. So Drew Dober, Matt Frivola. Matt Frivola is the underdog here at plus 185, 160. Pretty consistent throughout here. Minus 225 for Mr. Dober. Matt Frivola is coming off of a couple of knockouts, right? Yeah, Otman Azaitar, which was a big win.
Yep.
Well, for
Huge.
him, he's given two straight guys O's. Gennaro Valdez.
Guys?
Yeah, two. Well, I don't know. That I have to say, I really don't know. There's some jokes sitting there, but I'm gonna go sit here and probably take Drew Dober. I don't really like this fight. This seems like two immovable objects coming at each other at rapid pace. I guess this fight is not going to go to the cards, is what I would probably bet if I could get a good number on it, but it's not going to be a good number. I think everyone knows. Dober inside the distance is minus 140. For Frivola inside the distance is plus 400. I don't know. I think Dober's just the better fighter.
Under 1.5 is even. Under 2.5 is minus 220. Not awful, not bad, but I can see parts of this fight are like, they're trying to grind each other against the cage, grind on each other.
Nice.
Also, it seems like Drew Dober doesn't die.
Yeah.
Matt Frivola has, he's been knocked out very quickly by Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney, very explosive, very quick, very good in the first minute. I said he would beat Conor McGregor if they fought in a 30-second match. other than that, he's cooked. And then the Polo Reyes loss, I think that was his debut. Polo Reyes popped for steroids, all the Mexican supplements right after that. So I don't really value that too much, but he does have some durability issues. He can be hit. He has a negative strike differential. He's dropped people in his career. He dropped Azatar, knocked him the fuck out. Dropped Genaro Valdez 4 times. But he also got dropped by Marco Polo Reyes twice. Got dropped by Lando Venata twice.
Yeah.
Obviously, McKinney got him out of there in like 7 seconds. But I don't know, man. He seems like a cool guy. He seems like a smart guy. I like him a little bit. He's easy to root for. One of my favorite MMA podcasts. He is friends with one of the fellas on there. Went to University of Tampa, Army Reserve, wrestling background. He's kind of well-rounded. He's kind of good everywhere. I think obviously defensively is where he struggles a little bit. Size-wise, I think he matches up pretty well with Drew Dober. He's taller, has a longer reach. He's 2 years younger. But Drew Dober is just hard to hurt or kill or do anything to. I mean, he's so like he just has this strength, this aura of him that he just can't be defeated. He was getting outstruck by Bobby Green in that fight before he finished him off. That Rafael Alves fight was awesome. The Terrence McKinney fight was awesome. I'm a big Drew Dober fan. I think it's going to be a good fight, man. I think it's going to be a really good fight. I don't have a bet here, but I would take Drew Dober. I think I could see him winning a decision. I know Frivola might want to wrestle him, but Drew Dober did really well on the ground against Alves. He got taken down by Terrence McKinney, but he got up. He has been taken down, I think, in his last by pretty much almost everybody he's fought. But he's fought, Brad Riddell, Islam Makhachev, Alexander Hernandez, Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Dober. I do think some people are gonna take Frivola because of the recency bias, but I'm gonna roll with Drew Dober here. I think eventually though that durability is gonna go, and then that might be it. But this is a really interesting fight. I'm really interested to see how this transpires if they just brawl. I don't think Matt Frivola, he likes to brawl. He likes to swing, stay in the pocket, swing, but he probably should not do that against Drew Dober.
Yeah, I just someone's durability is going to fade here. I really don't think. I mean, although I think there is a possibility of people, maybe grinding up on each other on the fence, but I don't necessarily see that happening. I feel like these guys both are going to invite the firefight. Dober is going to hit him with something that he can't respond to and get him out of there. I think Dober's durability is more resilient than Frivola's. I've seen Frivola just kind of get hit and he have no idea what's going on. Dober went through a firefight in that McKinney war, basically, and should have been out of there multiple times, but just kept getting up and kept fighting and did not give up. And Dober's been in there against much better competition, so I am going to take Drew Dober inside the distance, minus 140 here.
I like it.
Are you taking anything, or we leaving you off?
I'll stay away.
All right. Smart man. I'm changing the strategy this week. I'm going with a little bit more minus bets because I think that, you might get beat on one or two of them, but I feel like you're going to get a little closer. I need at least a plus night here. We've been struggling recently, so we need something to hang our hat on. So we got Devin Clark and Kennedy Nzechukwu. This is a patron saint of the podcast, Mr. Nzechukwu, I believe is how you actually say it. But
there's a lot of ways to pronounce it.
Yeah, I've heard many times. Devin Clark is a guy who, when is the last time? He was in there pretty recently, wasn't he?
He fought...
February. Da Un Jung.
Yeah.
In a fight that was a little questionable.
Azamat. I remember he quit against Azamat.
Well, I mean, I would quit against Mirzakhanov probably as well.
I wouldn't even sign that paper.
Yeah, William Knight. A win against him, and then some losses to Jan Kutalaba, and Anthony Smith was down bad when he was fighting Devin Clark. That was really a get-back fight, and he's been on a run ever since. So I guess I'll ask you, I don't really trust either one of these guys, and Devin Clark is a plus 155, 160 underdog. Kennedy has continued. This is a guy in Kennedy who we have faded so many times, the African Savage. I mean, he's 2 in a row. A big win against Jan Kutalaba. That was,
he looked good, man.
He really
All
did.
Those front knees that were just like...
he made Mr. Carl Roberson quit, basically, in that fight. He just... Well, I mean...
Who hasn't?
Yeah, good point. But Mr. Nick, with a split decision loss to Mr. Nick.
Oh, that was one of the worst decisions,
Yeah.
I think.
I don't even know who we had on
Truly.
that side. But I even felt dirty if I had cashed a ticket
Disgusting.
out that night at that time. But Da Un Jung, spinning, we're standing elbows. That's right. It did one of those nights where he just looked like he did not want to be there. And then the crazy, triangle choke to Paul Craig that he shouldn't have let happen. That we were
I was there.
Yeah,
we were both there.
Yep. So I guess I ask you here. I mean, I don't think you're going to take Devin Clark. I believe in Kennedy. I just don't know if I believe him at this number.
Yeah, I feel that. I think he'd be a good parlay piece, but he'd be the one where you really have to worry. You're like, oh no, why are you trying to wrestle with Devin Clark? Don't do that. I think Devin Clark's path to victory is pretty simple. Now, if he's going to execute it, I don't think that's simple. I don't think actually executing it will be simple. Kennedy is probably one of the most physically imposing fighters ever, right? 6'5". I think he has an 83-inch reach, and that's at light heavyweight. I don't think he's really missed weight or struggled to miss weight or struggled to make weight. He's 30, so he had a kind of a late start to his career. He kind of got thrown in the fire right away. I mean, he's fighting Paul Craig, and then Stosic, Olberg, just decent guys, but I think he's steadily made improvements over the course of his career. He trains at Fortis MMA,
Yes,
so he has
sir.
Safe Sayoud in his corner, just screaming shit all fight, which is awesome. He's a slow starter, which I don't love, but I think Devin Clark also is a slow starter.
Yeah.
I don't think Kennedy's fighting IQ is necessarily that high because he's so new to the sport. I don't think Devin Clark's fighting IQ is
But he's
very
gotten much better as the years have gone on. Than
Much
I think
better.
much better
Much.
than Devin Clark has.
For sure. And the Da Un Jung fight that he was losing, that he lost, he was winning, or he did have some success before that finish. The Paul Craig fight, I think he might have been winning also, but I remember it not being good, and then he just got triangled. Like you said, he's made a lot of improvements. I think he's just going to keep getting better. Devin Clark, he wants to grind on you, he wants to wrestle you against the cage, slow it down. He kind of reminds me of like a knockoff Derek Brunson. He comes in, he runs into exchanges with his chin up, and he's tough, he's strong, but he also has a bit of a quitter in him. I don't when it gets tough, when it gets rough in there, Devin Clark is pretty much done. Has a stupid nickname, the Brown Bear, pretty terrible. He's pretty much been finishing all of his losses. Mirzakhanov made him quit. I think Kudalaba probably should have got him out of there. Anthony Smith triangled him. Ryan Spann guillotined him. Remember he got spinning back fisted by the Serbian fella. Can't think of his name. Rakic.
That's right. Forgot about that.
He doesn't respond. He doesn't respond well to anything, especially when the fight gets extended. And doesn't even have to get extended long. It could be the second round. So for that, I got Kennedy inside the distance. I think he's going to hit him with some knees. I think Devin Clark's going to have to watch shooting on somebody that big, that long, with those front kicks, straight punches. Like you said, we were talking about his last fight against Kudalaba. Big knees up the middle. He can use that just standing knee as a jab. It's insane. So I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to wear. Maybe he loses the first round, Kennedy. Maybe you look to bet him after the first round. But I think as the fight gets extended, Devin Clark's going to be. He's just going to quit. Even if he is having success, he's going to find a way to lose. So give me Kennedy inside the distance. I think he's going to knock him out. Find him against the cage, and he's going to make him quit.
And we both agree on that. We both have Kennedy inside the distance plus 130 here on the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. We keep it moving. Chaos Williams, Rolando Bedoya. I don't know much about this Peruvian gentleman. The Machine. He is making his UFC debut. We last fought in March. Darce choked a gentleman by the name of Pablo Duarta. I don't know if this guy is, what's it called? Not prelim. His amateur. What the fuck am I looking for? Regional. Jesus, God. Thank you. Thank God.
Amateur
prelim. Post lim. I don't know. Chaos Williams is a minus 330, 325 favorite here. Mr. Bedoya is plus 260, 255. Guess I'll ask you, do you really like anything here? This kind of seems like a last minute sort of throw together?
Yeah. I think this guy's 36, Bedoya. Peruvian fighters in general, not very good. South American fighters in general, especially I think more recently, not very good. A lot of fraudulence, a lot of just padded records. I mean, the regional scene's over in South America. Your guess is as good as mine of what some of the rules are. Yeah, I mean, this guy's I think he's at the wrong weight class. I know if you look at just his size and reach and whatnot, he's not he's not that much smaller than Chaos, but man, Chaos is strong. Chaos hits hard. Chaos is a scary man. He might not be the best. He might not be the most well-rounded or whatever. The Ox Fighter, didn't know that was his nickname.
Yeah.
I'll say that right now. But his Randy Brown fight, man, he I don't know. It was very close, and I kind of counted him out. I kind of counted him out against Semmelsberger and Baeza. And even in the Abdul Razak Al Hassan fight, a lot of people were on Razak, and he knocked him in the fuck. Chaos knocked him out quick. Same thing he did to Alex Morano. And Alex Morano, I mean, say what you want, but it takes some time to get him out of there, at least sometimes.
Some people have had trouble with it. He made it look easy.
30 seconds. So I think he's the better fighter all around. He hits hard. I mean, this guy, I just think he's fighting in the wrong weight class. I saw a little bit of his highlights, and he, just looks not nearly as strong. He's old. Maybe we know nothing about him, and that's a good thing for him. But this is just a tough debut against a guy who's not really ever going to, take any time off, like in the cage. And, he's not going to, he's always going to be focused. He's always going to be aggressive. He's not going to, quit or not be ready. So I got Chaos Williams. I think he's going to, let's see what his inside the distance number is. I'm going to take Chaos inside the distance. Unless it's like minus 200. Minus 145. It's not bad. I think he's going to smoke this guy. I don't know if this guy's really UFC caliber. So, especially at 170.
I think if you're feeling good, this is what I would do if I had a guy who wanted to make some money. I would bet Williams win by TKO in round 1 or 2, but I would bet them separate because I'm seeing Williams in round 2 is plus 650 and TKO in round 1 is plus 210. So I think either way you go positive, and you would just hope that maybe it goes to that second round. But I really think he gets him out of here. I think, like you said, too strong, too powerful, too quick. Chaos Williams is very quick, and he has held his own against some of the best at some of the best, but he has been in the shark pond, basically, I should say, for much longer than Mr. Bedoya has, and the level of guys that he's fought, killers who are ready to take his head off. Yeah. Give me Chaos Williams, and I'm going to take a TKO for my own self at minus 115 here on the card. I would do what I'm telling you guys to do. So let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the regular card. Marina Rodriguez, Virna Jandiroba, a 115 bout. I believe Mrs. Rodriguez is a slight favorite, minus 130, 132. Plus 110 for Jandiroba. Interesting line, I would say. I guess it's kind of a bias from. I'm a big Marina Rodriguez fan. We both have been for a while now. So I guess I'll ask you, Ty. Do you question where this number's coming from?
A little bit. I think Marina. I think there's a path to victory for Virna, right? Obviously, she's much better on the ground. And Marina, in her losses, as strong. I mean, look at her loss to. God damn, I'm on the wrong page. Look at her loss to, I can't think of her goddamn name.
Lemos?
Carla.
Oh,
Carla Esparza and Cynthia Calvillo. She got taken down by both of them 3+ times and lost a split and a majority. I think she should have won them both. She also had a close fight with Randa Marcos when she made her debut that she lost. Again, I thought she won. 2 of those 3 fights she should have won. Actually, there was 2 draws and 1 loss. That's right. So she's had a tough go at it, but she's also kind of, it's kind of her own fault. Her takedown defense is not good. Her get-up game is not good. She is tall, she is long, but she's kind of low volume and active sometimes.
Yeah.
I had her to finish Mackenzie Dern. That didn't happen over a 5-minute fight. I couldn't believe it. I don't even really remember that Amanda Lemos lost, man. Seems like it happened so long ago. Certain fights are just blanked out of my memory.
Yeah.
I think it's the easy advantage here for Virna. Virna on the ground, easy advantage for Marina on the feet. Virna, the problem I do have with Virna Jandiroba, bad cardio. So if she's going to exert all her energy in the first round or, the first exchange to get that submission or get that takedown, what happens if what happens next? There's going to be a second round. There's going to be a third round. And I think on the feet, man, she's really outclassed. Marina has been 10-8 it. So, she can be laid on. She can be ground and pound it. She can be, you can win rounds against her. I don't trust Virna. I don't trust Virna Jandiroba at all. I love her jiu-jitsu. Her armbar against Felice Herrig was nasty. When she subbed Mallory Martin, that was the easiest money ever. But, she's also been taken down a couple times. I guess, Hebos, Angela Hill, Carla Esparza, those are, pretty good fighters, but I just don't think she's very good. She's a specialist, but her striking is just a mess, really. And her takedown accuracy in general isn't good. She's more of a grappler instead of a wrestler. So I think that could work to Marina's advantage. I think Marina's stronger. So she's just going to have to stop these I guess we're going to stay out of the grappling realm. And I think she has this fight easy. I don't have a bet. I want to take Marina inside the distance, but I've done that before. And what I say I was going to do, never do it again. So I will stay away.
I'm going to take Rodriguez money line, -130. It's low enough where I like it, and I think she's just better than Jandiroba. And I think she's fought girls that kind of can give her the look. Like Mackenzie, wins against Mackenzie Dern will kind of lend as a blueprint. I mean, Jandiroba, like you said, she could present some different problems, probably better hands than Mackenzie Dern. But I don't know. I think this is going to be boring. So I'm going to hope for a real boring kind of runaway fight from Marina, and she wins a unanimous decision. That is my official prediction. So Parker Porter, Braxton Smith. Don't know much about Mr. Braxton Smith. This is the fight that you had some inside info on. Mr. Porter has been a fade machine for this podcast.
Yes.
Except I believe I faded him in the Justin Taffa fight. I believe we both did. Parker Porter is a man who, if you bet him to win by decision or something like that, then you absolutely
he's 3
cash out.
3 in the UFC, 3 decision wins and 3 first round stoppage losses. So it's, I think you know where you're getting with him. He has had some tough. I mean, making his debut against Chris Dawkins is not exactly easy for a guy who was 9-5 at the time on the regional scene. Jailton Almeida. I mean, Jesus Christ. He was like -2,000 for that fight. And Justin Taffa hits hard. And he got into a striking match with him, and that didn't end well. He does have a loss by illegal shots to the back of the head, so that's something. He fought Gabriel Gonzaga on the regional scene. He fought John Jones in his 3rd pro fight.
Yep.
Insane. So, I don't think he's very good, Parker Porter, but I think, a lot of people underestimate how hard it is to be a 500 level UFC fighter. Again, Josh Parisi and Chase Sherman and Alan Badeau, that's his 3 wins. Yeah, not good. And he didn't finish either of them. But he won, all unanimous. So you got to take something from that. But this Braxton Smith fella, all right, he's absolutely he's yoked out of his mind. Big boy, 33. So I'll give you a little background story of his career. He started his career way back in 2014 against Chase Sherman.
Yes.
He got smoked in like 30 seconds. Took 8 years off. Came back and said, I'm gonna try again. And he started running through these guys. He fought this fella named Ja'Cory Savage, not once, but twice. Ja'Cory Savage, the reason I was looking at this, I'm like, that name sounds very familiar. He was on the 2019 LSU Tigers national championship roster. He was a reserve offensive lineman. He didn't play at all, but he has a natty title. He has a natty ring. He's a big boy, but he is not a good fighter.
He's knocked some people out himself, though, for the record.
He has. He looks like he has some tools. Like, I can see why he wants to fight, but he's not very good. This Braxton Smith fella put him out bad. Like biblically bad. Like he as soon as his fist made contact with Ja'Cory Savage's face, Ja'Cory Savage just turned off. And then he tried hitting with this absolute missile of a follow-up shot, like the biggest hammerfish you could ever see, like what Muhammad Usman did to the one fella that he beat. And even bigger than Henderson Bisping. It was crazy. He kind of missed, but so he does that to him. And then 6 months later, he fights him again and knocks him the fuck out. He's fought a bunch of nobodies. If you watch any of these fights, I tried watching as many as I can. Peak Fighting, PF, not PFL, just PF. Very hard to find
PFC?
tape on. Just PF. Just PF. For whatever reason. And in some of these fights, man, he's been backed up against the cage. He's not good. I'll say this: he's not good. Not good. He has power. He can hit hard, but he just comes at you like a brawler. He doesn't care about striking defense. He doesn't care about anything. He also does not have a training team, a gym. He's self-trained. He literally has no gym. Nobody trains him.
That's insane.
So he fights some guy, puts him to sleep, and then 6 months later, when he wakes up, he puts him back to sleep. He fights all these other guys who are small heavyweights. He's 5'11". I don't think Parker Porter is a big fella, so I think he's 6 foot. Beautiful monster nickname. I don't know how this guy, how you can expect him to win a UFC fight. Parker Porter, yeah, not great, but this dude is a legit meme. Like he looked like somebody you'd make up and you'd be like, oh wow, he's not real. I watched his head kick against Cody Beck. It was nice. Before that, he was getting hit. I watched him fight some guy named Cameron Chisholm Brungard. He was getting hit. He's not a good fighter. There's a reason he retired for 8 years, right? Parker Porter gets one takedown, the fight's over. And even then, he should probably beat him on the feet. I hate to say this, but I'm taking Parker Porter heavy inside the distance.
Really?
Heavy inside the distance. What is he, minus 170?
Plus,
I mean, this guy
105 on inside the distance.
Yeah. This Braxton Smith fella has not even been to the halfway point of the first round, let alone the second.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he hits hard. Dude, he is huge. Big fella. It's kind of scary. He said he got into the UFC because his mom was watching it. So, actually, I don't think that was him, was it? It was somebody on this card. Yeah, it was him. Okay. I don't know where they found him and how they said, you know what, your 2 wins over a former LSU basically walk-on is welcome to the UFC, brother.
Made?
I do not know. I think Parker Porter was supposed to fight. No, they just made it. It wasn't even a replacement. They just said, yeah, we're signing this guy. Listen, he has power and he comes forward and, anybody, if you hit somebody hard enough, yeah. Like, I feel
5
like if
years
he
younger than Parker Porter, too.
Parker Porter's not young, but I feel like even if he rocked Parker Porter and Parker Porter like couldn't stand up and was wobbly, he could like just grab him, hold on to him, and then like fall on top of him. This Braxton Smith guy is just not good. He doesn't even have a training partner. How can anybody make any kind of adjustments if it does get past the first round, or how can he even be prepared? If he walks out, if I watch this fight, which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to watch this fight specifically, I really want to. If I see him walk out with nobody in his corner at all, I'm going to lose my mind. That's going to be hilarious. Like, imagine he has nobody. Imagine he goes back to his corner after the first round and there's no one there.
I'm going to go, and this is going to... I should stay away.
No, you shouldn't. You absolutely should not.
I should, but
give me a break.
But I've never been pussy, so I am going to take Braxton Smith.
Get the fuck out of here.
By TKO in the first round.
I was going to say, might as well do the first round. Under a half a round is plus 250.
Do we have a number here? Plus 340. Smith, TKO round 1.
Okay. What are we doing here? This guy doesn't have a training partner. He trains himself.
All he's got to do is hit him once. Parker Porter is 3 months removed from getting knocked out by Justin Tafa. Bad.
It was a 1 minute fight.
Bad.
Right? That's fine. He's had 3 months. This guy is legitimately has lost many striking exchanges with these guys in PF. So
come on, now don't say that.
He has. Cody Beck was giving him the business. He was worked against the cage by Ja'Cory. So before Ja'Cory Savage, the former blindside blocker of Joe Burrow in practices, before he got biblically sent to the abs, I don't even know where he got sent to. Like a whole completely different land is where he got sent to. Before that, he was actually piecing up Braxton Smith. He hit him with this nice elbow, and Braxton Smith's eye was busted. Like, I can't trust this guy in the UFC against anybody. Give me Parker Porter inside the distance. He's going to smash this fucking guy, and it'll be quick work.
Oh, he did send Cody back to the shadow realm with that head kick.
He did. Man, it was a nice head kick.
He is a freak of nature. He looks like a DC with no wrestling.
I think he played football also.
Oh, never mind. Actually, no. I've actually watched one clip. I want nothing to do with him. No, I was just kidding. Take that off the list. I want nothing to do with this pick.
He's terrible. Parker Porter, one takedown, and he can put him in like the most obscure submission ever if he really wanted to.
Ja'Cory Savage, he is absolute. He put that man into the shadow realm. I mean, he was sitting next to Eddie Wineland having a conversation. Braxton, I was about to call him Braxton Miller. Shout out to Braxton Miller, former Ohio State quarterback.
Eagles legend.
Yeah. He hits very, very hard. I could see him getting Mr. Porter out of there.
For sure.
I am not going to bet this. I am crossing this off.
Oh, give me a break. Parker Porter round one. How do you not take Parker Porter?
I don't want anything to do with this. I could see Parker Porter doing that, but I won't be able to sleep at night if I give somebody a play on this.
I won't be able to sleep ever again if this Braxton Smith guy wins a fight in UFC. That'll be a low point for this sport.
He might. I really do think that's a good bet. I think he's going to knock him out, and he's going to be absolutely exposed the next time he fights. But I think Parker Porter stinks. Yeah. Absolutely stinks.
Yeah, he's not good.
But, I mean, the last two guys he's fought are much better. I mean, he got knocked out by Chris Dawkins.
Yeah, but Chris Dawkins fights Braxton Smith, and Chris Dawkins is going to put him the fuck out.
Josh Parisian win.
Josh Parisian is going to absolutely smoke. Win. Chase Sherman made this guy rethink his journey 8 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 9 years ago. Sorry. Yeah. He took 8 years off after Chase Sherman punked him.
He wanted to get better.
Yeah, well, he didn't.
What's Parker Porter's submission?
I don't know. It's going to happen. That's what's
going to
happen.
Let's see. Parker Porter inside the distance is plus 100. Parker Porter submission is plus 350. Now that might be something I play, but I'm just going to stop talking about it because I don't like anything. Phil Halls. You gotta remember him, Phil Halls. He's fighting a gentleman that I'm going to have trouble spelling. Ikram.
No.
Aliskerov.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, there we go. 13-1. I believe he is making his UFC debut after his Contender Series Kimura over Mario Sosa. He has a win against Nashon Burrell at Eagle FC. How about that? That was a day. He is a man whose only loss, that's right, was a bomb of an uppercut from Hamzat Chimaev. I remember seeing that was bad. Highlight. He went out.
No, we're talking about how Mr. Ja'Cory Savage went to a secret land that we haven't unlocked yet. Mr. Aliskerov went to that land also. His mouth, dude, he got knocked out, and his mouthpiece flew out of his mouth like 10 seconds later. I've never seen a mouthpiece delayed reaction. That's,
There was so much power just pent up in there.
He also got dropped by not even a power jab. He got dropped by a jab a little bit before that by Chimaev. Just in case you were wondering.
Phil Hall is a big underdog here. I guess I shouldn't say big. Plus 165, 155, 170. Minus 200, 180 for Mr. Aliskerov. Do you like anything here? I don't really like anything.
I do.
Okay.
I am going to take Phil Hall's money line.
Wow.
I think this could be a regrettable decision, but I'm gonna go with my gut. I am a huge fan of Phil Hall's. It's just, I don't know what it is, man. He just doesn't have a chin at all. He just doesn't like being hit. I rewatched the Chris Curtis fight the other day. Man, he was beating the shit out of Chris Curtis. Yeah. Bad. Like, he was beating Chris Curtis up bad. And that was following a couple of decision wins over, Imavov and Dawkins. And those are good wins. Remember, he knocked out Jacob Malkoun in like 10 seconds. Yep. That was so easy. I wish I put more money on that. The thing about Hall is he's an insane athlete, right? D1 wrestling, has awesome power, just great. I think he trains at Killcliff. So he's got good training partners. He's in the gym a lot. I mean, dude, he is so smooth watching him strike. 1-2, 1-2. He's got a good jab. He's got a great straight right. He has just so much power and so much fluidity in his combinations. His front kick up the middle is nasty. And he throws, bomb leg kicks. I don't know how Aliskerov. I mean, Aliskerov's going to have to take him down. That's like pretty much what he does. I don't think Phil Hall's has ever been taken down. He has that Justin Gaethje background to lean on, but he loves to strike. And the Dolidze loss, yeah, I mean, it wasn't the greatest sign, but he also tore his ACL. He got his leg torn up in that hold, and then he got finished. I mean, the Curtis fight also, he got hit with that counter left, and that was it. I mean, again, I rewatched the fight, and that left hand, that noise that it made was nuts. It sounded like a baseball bat. And then he has no recoverability because as soon as he got hit, he didn't get dropped. He kind of squatted, and then when he tried to run away or get away from Chris Curtis, he just fell. He completely fell and was done. It was a crazy, tripped over nothing. He doesn't have durability, doesn't have a chin. That really makes me worry here because I don't think Askharov is a KO threat, but obviously it doesn't take much, especially if he has him on the ground. I just don't know if he can take Phil Halls down right away. And Phil Halls is a quick starter. He wants to start the fight off, throw his jab, throw his straight right, throw those combos, and I think he has a longer reach than Askharov. So he is a couple years older. I don't know, man. I think this Ikram guy is good. I think he's going to win some fights. There's a good chance he wins this fight. I haven't seen. I think this is a good matchup for Phil Halls. I haven't seen anybody take him down. I haven't seen him lose any kind of wrestling or grappling exchanges. I know he got his leg snapped by Dolidze, but he got up. He didn't tap. I don't know. I just don't know about him. He's just the guy who's winning fights until he isn't. Right? I think there was other fights on the regional scene. Yeah, on the Contender Series. Julian Marquez knocked him out with a head kick. Lewis Taylor, the infamous Lewis Taylor guillotine him way back in the day. But that was a while ago. He's made a lot of improvements. Give me Phil Halls. I think he can win a decision. I don't know if he can out-grapple this guy or out-wrestle him. I would assume maybe. But I think if it stays standing, man, he has the advantage here 100%. I've seen this guy get hurt. I know it was Chimaev, but that jab, it was a weak shot that dropped him. Phil Halls hits hard, man. I don't want to compare him to Chimaev, but he hits hard, and he's got just awesome dynamic striking, as long as he's the hammer.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this guy Askharov has anything for him. Maybe he can weather the storm and then get him tired or something. I can 100% see that happening. Phil Halls just has a knack for losing fights sometimes. So, but I'm going to take a shot on him. I like him at this line.
So you got Phil Hall's money line plus 170. I'm going to go Askharov submission plus 350, and I don't feel confident in it. I like everything you just said. But Phil Halls has done too much stuff, like you said in that Chris Curtis fight. I thought for sure he had it, and then he just kind of it just seems like he's one of those guys where I could see him hurting Askharov and then getting on top and then somehow getting swept and getting caught in something crazy or this guy's Kimura 3 guys in a row. So it just seems like he's got a weird funky game that could come into play here. But it's a tough debut for him. But, he's fought guys like Chimaev and whatnot, so it doesn't seem like this is too far out of the realm. How about Joseph Holmes, the ugly man, getting back in there, 8-3 against Claudio Ribeiro?
Something.
That's close enough. He is coming off of a decimation from Abdul Razak Al Hassan. That was his UFC debut. That was in January. He is... what is the line here? It has disappeared. What do we have? Minus 175 for Mr. Ribeiro. Joseph Holmes is a plus 160 underdog here. 200 favorite for Ribeiro in some of these sports books. So, last fight we're talking about, first fight of the night. We got to start this thing off right. What do we like?
Well, we don't like Joseph Holmes, right?
Right. That's. I was hoping you would say that.
I'm really mad we didn't get the Zumagulov Estevam fight. That Estevam guy is awesome. He trains with Aldo, Henan Barral, all those guys. He's awesome. I don't like this Ribeiro guy, right? He has some good leg kicks. He has some big power, but that's it. He easily gets out grappled, easily gets hit. Joseph Holmes, the thing about it, he has decent striking, right? Decent. He can grapple a little, but he can't wrestle at all. Doesn't have good cardio and gets hit easily. Basically, he's not good. He has a couple good things working for him, but they just get, completely pushed to the side when you think about his all-around game. I mean, no cardio, no wrestling, no punch resistance. I don't know how you're going to go far at 185 if you can't do any of that, Losing to Jamie Pickett, man, that's one of the big red flags. He is only 27, so maybe he can work his way back. The Alan Amedovski win, being his only UFC win, is just
Doesn't mean much.
Yeah, that guy Alan Amedovski. I can't believe UFC ever signed him, but they needed a Macedonian fighter, I guess. So who's even the favorite here? I have
Ribeiro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess he's going to win.
200.
Yeah, I think Ribeiro is probably going to knock him out at some point. It doesn't seem like these guys can go 3 rounds without one of them just dying. So yeah, give me Claudio Ribeiro. I'm not. Is there an over under for this I can possibly take?
Under 1.5 is minus 128, 129, and under 2.5 is minus 315. So
let me just stay away. These guys are not UFC caliber, not UFC level, not very good. It's 185, which is usually a sloppy, gross division. I'm going to stay away. I should not bet on a Joseph Holmes fight. I know I should fade him 100%, but this guy is also a
fadeable. Yeah, I think I 100% agree with you. I think Ribeiro, I would take inside the distance minus 125 if I could get a better number than maybe I would, but I'm going to stay away. I have enough plays in the card. I don't like this fight enough to risk anymore. So you have 5 total plays. Sterling money line, Jan money line, and Zukwe inside the distance, Parker Porter inside the distance, and Phil Hall's money line. I have Cejudo, Burns, Andrade, Evelev, Dober, and Zukwe, Chaos Williams, Marina Rodriguez, and Alishkarov, all by an assortment of ways. And you'd have to go back and listen to it if you want to hear my actual plays. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Hot Take Hot Box Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. Is there any boxing this week?
There is Canelo. Oh, is that next week?
No, it's this week. It's Cinco de Mayo, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. He's fighting John Ryder in Mexico. He's probably going to smoke John Ryder. I mean, John Ryder's honestly not awful, but he just doesn't really bring anything
business
to the table
being in there
much.
with him.
Yeah, it's just one of those fights for Canelo. I guess he wants to fight Bivol next. I don't love that. I think he should give Benavidez a chance, but other than that, no, pretty quiet boxing weekend. I think. Do we have anything next weekend? No. I guess the next big fight is going to be in 2 weeks. Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko. It's going to be a banger. The win also has a lot of big stakes on the line for that fight. The winner might fight Gervonta. Maybe Devin Haney moves up to 140 and fight Josh Taylor or something. We'll see. But also another fight at the end of May. Mauricio Lara Lee Wood 2. After Lara knocked him out, that should be fun. It knocked him out. Now he's going to go to fight him in England, which is interesting. At 126, my favorite division of boxing. So, yeah, not much really. Canelo, I mean, that's going to be fun. It's always fun seeing him get in there and reclaim his throne over the Mexican fans. I know he was very salty about Ryan Garcia getting a little buzz from the Mexican faithful, but that ended very quickly. So, yeah, not much going on.
Yeah, slow week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the fights, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have there's plenty of sports on. It's the great time for anyone who doesn't just follow the MMA world, but it's always a great time to follow the MMA world because there's always, and combat sports world for that matter, because it's always moving and there's always stuff going on. Canelo, big time favorite. Really nothing to bet there though. That's a shame. Minus 2,000 on William Hill.
Yeah.
Minus 1,800 on. I mean, maybe you could bet.
If any round, I think somewhere between the 7th and 10th. But
think so, like a little bit later on. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't see any numbers on here, so that's the only. Oh, here we go.
Probably.
Here we go. Let's see. The round 7 through 9 is plus 225.
There you go.
You could even bet him like the last section of the fight basically, and you could get your money back. Plus 225 and plus 350. You're going positive either way if he knocks him out after the 6th round. So it's just there's plenty of ways to make money here. You just have to find them. And there's nothing we put on the card here for boxing, so that's usually the case. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back Monday or Tuesday. Hopefully Monday. We're trying to do Mondays, but Mondays are tough. But more than likely Tuesday, we will be back with a full breakdown of the weekend's action, full breakdown of our cards, full breakdown of everything. My name is Matt McSweeney. His name is what?
Tyler Braxton Smith Capone.
Man, if he gets it done, I'll be upset. I really will.
I'll probably retire from watching.
Retirement is up for grabs here this weekend. It is an Undertaker retirement match. We'll be back next week. Thank you for joining us.
Peace.